Welcome to the presentation on student employment for new hiring managers and student supervisors. In this presentation, we will cover an introduction to the student employment team and our responsibilities at GW, the two types of employees we serve, the steps you should take before hiring students, important regulations that are applicable to the student employees, the hiring and onboarding process, the responsibilities you have as a student hirer and supervisor, performance recognition and evaluations, how to terminate student positions, and resources that are available to you. The Student Employment Team is located within the GW Center for Career Services in the Division of Student Affairs. The Center for Career Services is led by the Assistant Provost for University Career Services, and the four-person Student Employment Team is managed by the Associate Director for Student Employment. We are also assisted by student staff each year. Student employment is responsible for I-9 processing for student employees and hire processing for student wage and federal work study positions. However, graduate research assistants, graduate assistants, and TAs are managed outside of student employment. We also manage the Federal Work Study Program, which includes annual participation agreements, the off-campus Federal Work Study Program of 30 to 40 nonprofit and federal agencies where GW students can work to earn their Federal Work Study Award, and the Student Employment Team also monitors Federal Work Study Student Employees Awards and completes monthly reconciliations on Federal Work Study earnings. We oversee job postings for student positions, create training manuals and workshops for student employees and employers, and distribute paychecks for student staff. For students in specific schools, we also manage co-op for CPT's requirements. And lastly, one of the most exciting times of the year for the team is National Student Employment Week, where we organize a celebration and recognition programs for GW's nearly 5,000 student employees. The two employment types that student employment manages are federal work study and student temporary wage positions. Federal work study positions are available for students that have been awarded federal work study as part of their financial aid package through the Office of Student Financial Assistance. For employees in these positions, your department only pays a small percentage of the student's earnings. To be eligible to hire federal work study employees, your department must submit a federal work study participation agreement each year to student employment. Eligible students may only work during the specified program dates, may not work during class times, and must stop working in the position when their award amount is reached. Please keep in mind that 100% of their earnings are reduced from their total federal work study allotment each biweekly pay period, and it is your department's responsibility to monitor earnings so that the student does not exceed their award amount. Federal work study employees may only hold one federal work study position at a given time. Student wage positions are paid 100% by the department. No agreements are required, but the employee must be a GW student. This does not include other university or high school students that will be working for GW. These hires must go through HR. Any GW department may hire student wage employees. Students may hold a federal work study position and a wage position or multiple wage positions. Student employees may only work 25 hours per week during the academic year. However, international students have visa requirements that limit them to 20 hours per week. During breaks like spring break, winter break, and summer break, students may work up to 40 hours per week with supervisor approval. International students should always verify with the International Services Office if they can work more than 20 hours per week. The hour limit is cumulative of all positions held by the student. Both position types may only be paid by the hours they work. We cannot pay flat rates, salaries, or stipends. Students must also be paid for all required training. Before you begin the hiring process, there are a few steps you should take, and you should ensure that you have access to the systems that you will need based on your job responsibilities. If you will be hiring federal work study students, ensure that your department has a federal work study participation agreement on file. Participation agreements can be found at our website and are required each academic year. If you will submit a hire request through the online student hire application, complete a banner access form, obtain all of the appropriate signatures, and return it to HRIS and Banner Security. A partially completed form is available in our online hiring toolkit. If you will be recruiting students for your positions, please contact our office for access to our online job posting platform called GWork. If you need new position numbers created, email us at gwse@gwu.edu. Usually, departments only need new position numbers when the department has a new funding source that the position will be paid out of. Please keep in mind that the student position numbers are pooled positions, meaning that they are based on the funding source, not the individual employee. So you can hire multiple employees under one position number. If you will be responsible for time approval in your department, contract payroll services regarding access to GW's timekeeping system called Kronos. There are a few options available to GW departments to find new student employees. You can post your positions on GWork, visit our hiring toolkit online for more information on writing job descriptions for student employees. Please keep in mind that once finished recruiting, update the end date on the job posting and notify applications that the position has been filled. Also, per Federal Work-Study regulations, all Federal Work-Study positions must be posted on GWork. Consider asking current or previous student employees for recommendations. This is a great way to find new staff. We also recommend publishing positions in department newsletters and social media accounts. If you have problems filling a position, contact Student Employment. We are happy to review your job description and announce your opening on our social media accounts. Before you begin employing students, here are some laws, regulations, and policies that you must be aware of and follow. Failure to do so can lead to severe financial penalties or loss of funds provided to the university. The Fair Labor Standards Act from the U.S. Department of Labor states that students who perform work that does not directly relate to the institution's program of instruction may be regarded as employees and entitled to minimum wage and overtime, even if they are classified as non-employee, graduate, or undergraduate assistants. Also, as non-exempt employees, students are to be paid on an hourly basis and must be paid for time actually worked, including required trainings. Federal Work-Study regulations from the Department of Education state that federal work-study employees may not work during scheduled class times, cannot displace full-time employees, must have a full-time employee as a supervisor, and that we must have a job description for every federal work-study employee. I-9 regulations from the Department of Homeland Security states that employees must complete Section 1 of the I-9 form on or before their first day of work, and that the employer, in this case Student Employment, must complete Section 2 with the employee by their third day of work. Weekends are included. Also, the employee must provide specific, original, not copies, of documents to the employer to verify that they are legally authorized to work in the U.S. The D.C. Wage Theft Prevention Amendment Act from the D.C. Department of Employment Services says that we must provide written notice of employment to all employees, including the name, address, and phone number of the employer, employee's rate and basis of pay with overtime pay rates, and regular paydays in the employee's requested language. The Act also states that non-exempt employees must clock in when beginning and leaving work. We must have the precise time worked as reported by the employee. All non-exempt employees must be paid at least twice a month on predetermined paydays. You can find GW paydays on the payroll calendar of Payroll Services website. Effective July 1st, 2016, the GW background screening policy was updated and continues to help protect the safety and security of the university students, faculty, staff, and guests, as well as the university assets by reducing the likelihood of crime, injury, or loss and increasing confidence in the university's workforce. In the updated policy, standard background screenings for student employment positions will only be required in positions that are financially, safety, or security sensitive as defined by the background screening policy. The following positions are defined as financially, safety, or security sensitive student employment positions. Positions engaged in financial transactions, processing, and/or viewing. Positions that work in residence halls. Positions with access to restricted areas or have access to university keys, positions that work with minors, positions that require driving university vehicles, and positions that have access to sensitive data such as student records, social security numbers, grades, and admission records. Student Employment has carefully considered the previously discussed laws, regulations, and policies to design the hiring process, required documents, and systems to help ensure compliance. It is vital that GW student employers follow these guidelines and processes. Please contact the Associate Director for Student Employment or your HR representative for further guidance. Here you see the step-by-step guide to hiring your new student employee.
This can also be found on our website under the Hiring Toolkit. Start by posting positions on GWork, interviewing candidates, and notifying students who were not selected. Next, you will offer the student the position, send out an official letter, also available in the toolkit. Departments must use the letter as it is the official document that has been approved by GW's General Counsel's Office and contains information required by the DC Wage Theft Prevention Amendment Act. For federal work-study hires only, you must collect the student's employment authorization form. This is a document that the student prints from their GWeb account. Students should contact our office for further instructions, or they can find instructions in the Student Employee Manual. Let the student know to expect an email from Sterling if a background check is required. This will automatically commence once the hire is submitted through the student hire application. Also, let the student know that an I-9 will be required if they have not worked on campus before and that they will need to provide original documents. Once you have all the required documents, you or the department representative will submit a hire request using the online student hire application. The start date should be the anticipated day the student will begin working. Remember to allow enough time to process the hire request, the I-9 form completion, and for the background check to clear. Please allow at least 2 weeks for processing. Start dates are subject to be changed by the student employment staff if the date requested is before the background check and I-9 form is complete. In the request, you will be required to attach scanned copies of the employment authorization form for federal work-study hires and offer letters for all hires. For more expedient processing, please refrain from using commas in the file names of the documents you are attaching. Do not allow the student to start working until you receive notification from the Oracle systems that the hire is complete. Students can check their employment records on GWeb on their start date. Once the hire is submitted in the online student hire application, routing is as follows. An email is sent immediately to the student and employer if an I-9 is not on file, describing the process and requirements. The hire then routes for approvals as required. Any grant-funded position will automatically require research coordinator approval. If required by the department, a finance director and/or department director may need to approve the hire. After the approvals are gained, the hire will route to HR, talent, and recruitment to initiate the background check. Email notices will go out to the student and employer during the process to give updates. When the background check is cleared and the I-9 is verified, student employment will process the hire. Status updates can be found by clicking the History button under My Forms in the student hire application. Lastly, when completion notifications are sent to the student and employer, you can allow the student to begin working. If you have not followed proper procedure and policy and have allowed the student to start working, please review the final notification that was sent to see if we had to change the start date. If it was changed to reflect a date after the background check and/or I-9 was completed, you will now have to submit a new hire request with the action type of date change so that the student's hours can be paid. Please note, the employee's information will load in Kronos the day after the hire is complete. If your position is a secondary position, the employee will not appear until they clock in for the first time. You will also use the system to perform rate increases, but you will attach a rate change letter available in the hiring toolkit instead of the offer letter. Now that the employee is officially hired, it is time to plan their first days with you. When onboarding a student employee, think about what actions you would take for any new member to your department. We suggest sending welcome emails introducing the new employee, introducing the student to the department timekeeper and other members of the team, talk about the department's goals and how the student's work aligns with them, have the technology and resources they will need to perform their job available for them, talk to them about departmental policy and procedures, and require FERPA training through Skillport. The document on this slide is available for download from our hiring toolkit. Your responsibilities as a supervisor include staying in compliance with laws, regulations, and GW policies as previously discussed. Successful student supervisors will also provide quality training by giving the student all the materials they need to succeed. Training should be provided on a continuous basis. Set clear expectations. For many students, this will be their first experience working in a professional setting, so do not assume that they should know. Share the goals of the office. Work will be more meaningful when the student understands the purpose of their work and how they fit into the success of the office. Teach through example. Model the work habits that you would expect from the student. Give feedback and appreciation. Address performance issues quickly and give recognition for good work. Be a mentor. Help the students connect their student position to their academic and future career goals. Encourage your employee to speak with a career coach in the Career Services Center to further articulate and explore how all of their GW experiences connect to further development of their career path. Be flexible. Students are students first and employees second. One of the most important and rewarding aspects of employing students is to help guide their professional development. We highly encourage you to complete performance evaluations with the student each semester. Not only will the student learn valuable information to enhance their future career paths, but you will also develop a stronger employee for your department. You can find the GW Student Employee Performance Review in the Hiring Toolkit. The most anticipated time of the year for the Student Employment Office occurs in the second week of April. National Student Employment Week is celebrated by universities and colleges across the U.S. and is an important time to recognize the amazing contributions that GW student staff make to the university and the surrounding community. Look for emails and newsletter items that let you know how you can celebrate the excellent work of all of our student staff, and consider nominating your employee for the Student Employee of the Year award. To end the employment cycle for a student employee, we must discuss the termination process. You must request position termination from your HR representative when the employee is no longer working for your department, has run out of federal work-study funds, leaves for study abroad, or graduates. Terminations can automatically occur when the federal work-study program ends or the student's funds have been depleted, the employee has not earned a paycheck in 4 months, the employee fails to complete required I-9 documentation, or the department fails to switch employee types once the student has graduated. For performance and other HR issues, contact the Associate Director of Student Employment or your HR representative. We acknowledge that there is a lot to learn about being a student employer, but you have a number of resources available to you to ensure your success. Student Employment continues to add and make improvements to our online resources. Please review the Hiring Toolkit and Employer Manual that is available online. We also have a monthly newsletter full of important information that is needed during the year. Please contact us to be added to the distribution list. We use social media to send out tips and job announcements. And of course, the Student Employment team is available to assist you with your questions, issues, or concerns. Thank you for your time today, and please do not hesitate to contact us. If you are viewing this presentation to gain access to the Student Hire application, please use this link to take the required quiz.